Hi, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to this episode with Tips with T. On today, I have Mr. David, but he call his like to go by Dave.
Hmm.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
So right now, I run a cartoon marketing company called Crafted 1K. So I use cartoons to help businesses and brands communicate their messages, gain some attention, and have a little more fun.
Awesome, awesome. Um, Cartoons. I'm a big fan of cartoons. Even though I am old, or
You can't be
older in
that
my
old.
30s. Well, I'm in my 30s, and I still love to watch cartoons to this day. Like,
Oh, yeah, I'm
I,
34.
yeah, I love the classic cartoons though. So I like the Pink Panther and Looney Tunes. Like, I like all
Okay.
the old classic ones. Like the new ones don't have nothing on the old classic cartoons.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
So, what are some of your hobbies?
Well, some of the hobbies outside of drawing, I do a lot of flipping of homes. We have one rental property, and pretty much every house we've lived in, I flipped every other room that we've had. And then I also do a lot of home brewing outside of that. So it's kind of a mix between the three.
Awesome. I'm actually interested in getting into real estate. I'm learning more about real estate, so that's very, very interesting. Because
It's tough.
oh, you
It's
said it's
tough.
tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's just learning. I mean, the biggest thing is understanding what's your building code.
Hmm.
So whether it's structural or electrical, plumbing, you got to follow code because if you don't, you can get popped with fines and or even something worse. Like an electrical fire if you're not properly ran. So it's tough. You got to know the code, but it's they say that's where you build some big wealth.
Yeah, that's what they have said. I researched it, so I was like, oh, maybe I want to look into that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth looking into. I've been doing it for almost 15 years now. I started kind of as a side project, kind of part-time job with my wife's father, and then ever since then, it just kind of every other year is something new.
That's awesome. No, definitely will look into it. Most definitely. Um, so how has your journey been for the past 6 months when it's with you starting your cartoon business?
It's been fun. We've had a lot of ups and downs. The cartoons. It's one of those things. It's always been a part of my life ever since I was a kid. Growing up, I definitely had a little bit of anxieties, whether you're in school, and cartoons were always kind of like my reprieve. Anybody that knew me, it's just Dave and cartoons, Dave and cartoons. And then growing, as I started to learn how to draw more, I started cartooning for local papers. And then I was in a national paper in 2008 and nine called the Business Review, which is owned by American City Business Journals. So they got papers across the country. So that was a really fun experience. But then ever since then, so I ended up getting into a sales role and kind of been in sales and business development for like 12 years. I had a couple companies I started in my 20s. And the last 6 months was kind of like this revelation where it's like, I've always loved cartoons. I've seen this intersection with so many people trying to stand out online, whether they're a coach, they're consulting, they have this product or that product. And I'm just trying to think of how else can they get to stand out? Because for me, at most of my success in sales, is just being a little bit different than the average salesperson you would see. There's many times I would go into a sales meeting where typically you would expect a suit and tie, and I would go in with just a blazer, button down, and some nice sneakers with my pants. And people are like, "Why are you wearing like that?" And I don't want to be like every other person that's going to come in and pitch something and this is what I have. I just wanted to show them who Dave was. So that's what my cartoons have really been the last 6 months of, how can I use what I like to draw and take somebody's message that is important to them, but it might just be getting lost in the mix and use the cartoon to help us stand out a little more.
Awesome. Well, I think it's very, very awesome how you took your passion for cartoons and actually turned that into a business. A lot of people don't think that they can take their passion and actually turn it into a business or turn it into a way that they can um, accumulate income.
Right.
I have a little cousin, and I've constantly ride her when I see her because she's very good at drawing, and she
Yeah.
started her own comic book. I'm like, don't you know you can start your own little business now? She's like, yeah, but I want to wait. But she's really, really
Yeah.
good. But yeah, it's amazing to me how just small things about what we're passionate about, turning it into um, a career for ourselves, and it
Yeah,
gives us more purpose. Like we feel more fulfilled. Um, so
absolutely. And it's just getting creative too. You know, you could like to draw, but chances are you can't really get paid to draw. But if you could figure out how to use drawing, whether for business services like I'm doing, or if you're drawing and try to craft a cartoon, for example, or some art around a particular group, then you can build a following that way and look for opportunities to make revenue. So it's ways to do it. I mean, this internet thing just opened up the floodgates for everyone. But it's just a matter of getting a little more creative than I'm going to draw a picture and somebody's going to pay me for it.
right. Well, awesome. So what resources did you utilize to make your journey better as an entrepreneur? Because we all run into like, our challenging moments in life.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the journaling is huge. I know that's kind of been cliche and overdone over the past like year or so, but I can't speak enough to it. Journaling just helps you get out of your own head, especially on this journey. You're going to have days where you like feel on top of the world. Like you got this, you're going to handle it. Next 12 months is going to be huge. And then you have a next day. It's like, I suck. What am I doing? Maybe I should just go get another job. And so it's dealing with that self-doubt and also the excitement, and journaling has been a really good tool to just kind of get your thoughts out, do some gratitude, which really, really works. And the one thing that's been powerful to me, and I've had a couple friends starting to do this, is when you do journal, people talk about like an affirmation, like I am powerful or something like that. But
Hmm.
if you can write down something that like you really believe, and it's kind of like a stretch, it's a it's a weird thing that happens in the world, and it's going to sound very woo woo, but things come together. So there was a an opportunity I had a few months ago where wasn't sure where the cartoon thing was going, but I was writing in my journal that day, and I said, "Today I will make a connection that will show me my next steps." That's what I wrote. And then later on that day, I ran into a guy who needed a cartoonist for his books. He had a cartoonist that drew for some of his books. That cartoonist unfortunately passed away. So now he's looking for someone new to cartoon for him for some of his content. And he's a sales coach, sales trainer. He's internationally known. He's a best time selling author by New York Times. So it's one of those things where I put it out there, and then the universe has a way of giving you an opportunity. So journaling has definitely been a big step for me. And then in conjunction with journaling is community, getting around like-minded people that kind of get you. You know, sometimes it's hard to talk to somebody that doesn't know what you're trying to do. It doesn't seem like it's safe. It's
Right.
comfortable. Why don't you just get a normal job where you know your paycheck's coming on Friday or every other Friday?
Hmm.
You know what you're doing. What you're doing, you may not get paid. How, you know, so getting away from those type of people, not permanently, but just to get around those that actually get what you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Again, it helps you with those ups and down moments, because when you're super high on something, maybe they can give you more perspective. Like, all right, slow down. What's the next best step you can take? And then those that maybe went through a hard spot, they're like, you know, I've been there too. Don't worry, let it ride out. Maybe do some personal time, and you'll get your juice back. So community has definitely been huge, and you can find that, you know, with local groups like Meetup.com, or you can go online with communities, whether it's a Facebook group or LinkedIn, just to get your chance out there and talk to people. So after journaling, community, the two other that have been huge is HubSpot. I use HubSpot. It's a CRM, but it's a tool that can do a lot more from a marketing standpoint. I just use it to organize all my clients and my projects. So if, you know, for me, the organization kind of helps keeps things moving along forward. You can get really lost in what's the next thing I'm working on? Where is this project? Oh, I forgot to call this person back. But if a nice CRM, and HubSpot's free for their intro version, just keeps everything dialed in, so you know the next step you need to take. And then for any of your guests that are kind of new to the journey, where they kind of have an idea, or they think they have an idea, but they're not sure where to go. A few years ago, I started up well, I didn't start up, but I joined a online community called Fizzle. So I believe their handle still is fizzle.co. And this is an amazing community where you have a big online forum that you're part of, but they also have courses that you can take that's free. It's part of their community. And it's courses in anything you can imagine: finding an idea, testing your idea, finding an audience, how to talk to your audience, how to create a product, how to launch a product, how to do a webinar. I mean, anything you can imagine with trying to start something. Fizzle is an opportunity to do that. So they're really, really good. I was with them for about 6 or 7 years. I recently took a break myself personally, but if you're just starting out, I would definitely look to them.
Well, that's awesome. I definitely agree when it comes to surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah,
It might be hard for your area, but I try to encourage people, well, hey, go out to different networking events, um, just to get out some and meet and network different people. Like, but some people, they're really not into getting out. So these ones that you suggested, I feel like are also good too. And then some people, it's like if they have a lot going on, they might not have that time to get out and go and network like they want to. So this
right.
allows them the flexibility to network in some type of way, um, in order to get that support system that they need and to be around like-minded people. So I'm definitely going to look into this myself and refer these to a couple of my clients, because I'm
Yeah,
very, very highly about networking and being around like-minded people. That's one of the things I actually encourage when becoming an entrepreneur. I'm like, all right, you need a good support system.
yeah,
And in order to get a good support system, you need to be around like-minded people, because
you
these
have to.
journeys
Yeah.
will be challenging. It will not be easy all the time.
And the other thing that it kind of helps you with is, especially if you're just trying to start out and you have an idea but you're not sure, like going to those networking events, even though you might not be like to do that stuff, if you just go out there and then just gives you a chance to say, hey, I'm Dave and I run a cartoon marketing company. Even if I don't even have a client, I have nothing. But now you get like some confidence of actually telling people what you're doing.
Mhm.
And these people are people that, oh, that's cool, tell me more, versus somebody be like, why are you doing that? Because
Right,
these people that are network, they're all looking to figure out, what are you doing, what are they doing, how can we connect and help each other.
right.
So if anything, it just kind of helps you, say it out loud what you're doing, and either one, you'll be excited, or two, you'll be like, I don't really like the sound of that.
Hmm. Yeah, and it also helps people to not be ashamed of their services or the product that they offer. So that's why I try to encourage people, like, go out, tell people what you do. Like,
Yeah.
so you should be more excited about the services and products that you offer than the people that are rendering them. So put that out there. Like, you can't be scared to not put your services and your products out there and then expect for you to have clientele. It doesn't work that way.
And they'll give you new ideas. Like I was at
Right.
an event a couple weeks ago, and just talking about what I'm doing. And right now, it's what I do is mostly work one-on-one with customers or
Hmm.
clients, creating characters or creating cartoon images around their messages. But the gentleman I was talking to brought up, he's like, do you have a subscription service? I'm like, well, I don't know if I would use a subscription service for this. He goes, well, you create all these stock cartoons that you post on Instagram and stuff. He goes, what if somebody doesn't have the budget or doesn't want to have their own character, but like some of the stuff you're making? If you have a subscription service, maybe they can just use anything you create as you create it. I'm like, I never thought of that, I usually put out between 3 or 4 of my own every week.
Right.
So right now I've got about almost 200 of them. Yeah, I mean, that could be something I might look into, where if somebody wants to pay $5 a month or something like that, they can use any of the cartoons I create for their own work, if
Hmm.
that's not something they want to have custom. So getting out there and talking can open up a door that you never even thought about before.
Yeah, and then maybe you should try like doing a freelance service like Fiverr. Fiverr like will allow you to do stuff like that too as well.
Yeah, Fiverr and Upwork's another one. That's really good too.
Yeah. So and then like even with that, like I didn't even like I had research. I didn't even know, like, because with me, I'm in like the accounting field, or
Hmm.
so like I do credit repair and stuff like that. Even through Fiverr, like they offer those type of services, like for a one-time fee if wants someone to enter like the entries
Right.
in for their QuickBooks. I was like, oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah. Right. No, that's true though.
Hmm. So it's good to be around people where you can bounce ideas and stuff from, and they can encourage you. Um,
Yeah, it's the biggest step. I mean, the hardest thing is getting out of your own head, because you could think you have this amazing idea, and this is going to be the one that makes me, quote unquote, the $1 million thought, and it's stuck in here, and nobody out there knows about it, or the customer you think needs it, they don't need it at all. So you won't know that until you get out there and try to talk more.
right. So what other businesses have you started as an entrepreneur?
We've had a few of them over the years. A first one, mostly due to my dad. He was the kind of one that kind of inspired a lot of this. And in 2009 was the first one. I had a cylinder recycling company. So these cylinders were used to calibrate equipment in hospitals,
Mhm.
and they're just small ones. Maybe they're about 18 inches tall. But once they were done, they didn't really have a way of disposing of them. The large recycling companies didn't really care about them. So a lot of these hospitals were just storing it up in a closet. And the problem there is OSHA, that's a no-no. So they would get fines for having these there. So they didn't know what to do with them. My dad had seen this because he works in hospitals, and he goes, what if you just recycle them? He goes, it's scrap steel. I know how to remove the valve safely, and we could just recycle it. So that was the first kind of jump into it. And I think, I forget, it's been a while now. There was one hospital, was the first customer I had. When you first got that check, it was such a cool feeling. Now it's just like, wow, I could actually try to do this. So that lit the fire. And ever since then, I had a couple e-commerce companies. I was selling durable medical goods. So things like bandages and braces and things like that for disabled individuals in the community. I had focused on the American veterans. So I partnered with the DAV, which is Disabled American Veteran Organization. So at the time, I was the sole provider of these products to their members. And it was a kickback I created where 15% of every sale would go back toward their organization to further their efforts. So that was a really fun company. Ran that for a few years. And then after that, I started a company called Brubia, and I ran that for about 2.5 years. I was a distributor of eco-friendly cleaning chemicals for craft brewery. And the reason I got into that was after those first two companies, I was like, what would be fun to do every day? And at that point, I started home brewing. I really loved the brewery scene. I was like, it'd be fun to be in a brewery every day.
Mhm.
And I started digging out, what does a brewery need? Sustainability was a really huge factor at that point. So at that point, I just kind of figured out, all right, who are the main players and maybe like a clean, green products for them. I was very familiar with chemicals and kind of how they all work from a sales standpoint, and dove into that. And then that was a fun run. Did that for a while. Ended up having shut that down due to some cost features, but it was a really fun experience that I went through. And then since then, just doing some small sales coaching on the side. I did another retention program for breweries, a flight pass, kind of like a growler club. And then, currently this Crafted 1K has been doing it for, I was going to say almost 8 months now.
Oh, awesome.
So it's been a wild road, but it's fun. It's like every couple of years I get another idea. I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes as well.
Mhm. And as an entrepreneur, like you can't be scared to take chances and find
No,
different ways to get money. You don't have to just settle for one business. You can have more than one business and still be successful in all of them. Um,
exactly.
and I'm to that point now too, because it's like, yeah, I have one business, but I'm trying to venture out and have other ones, looking into doing other ones. That way I can
Yeah,
still have like multiple streams of income from different areas. But then there are also stuff like I enjoy
yeah. I think that's
hobbies.
big too.
Yeah, like our hobbies, cause I love fashion. I love
Okay.
makeup, the girly stuff. So I'm like, well, since I'm
Yeah,
always invested in this, maybe I want to turn this into an actual business.
exactly. Right. And that's where a lot of it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that's cool. But yeah, so it's always been there, and it's one of those things where it's the fire's still there to keep going and figuring out, what else can you create, who else can you help. Through that whole time of starting these companies, I held a full-time job, so this was all kind of side hustle stuff
Mm-hmm.
until this I think last May was when I decided to pull the plug and kind of see how I can go full time.
Yeah.
So it's a 10-year journey, that's for sure.
I mean, it's always going to be a journey. I'm to that point now where I'm trying to make my business full time. So I'm
Yeah.
slowly transitioning by like trying to offer different services and do different things to get myself out there, like networking and
Hmm.
seminars and things of that nature, just so I can get the exposure, so I can turn my side hustle into my main.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's only going to take just a few customers. Part of the this is it's variable between industry to industry, but Crafted
Mhm.
1K, the 1K came from the idea and the belief behind Kevin Kelly, who was an entrepreneur. He wrote an essay a number of years ago called "Your 1,000 True Fans," and for him, it was basically the concept was all you really need is 1,000 true fans to have a successful business, because 1,000 true fans can pay you for what you have. They can tell other people about you, So that was his premise of what you need to be successful. But it's, it's relative for anybody's industry. You may not need 1,000. Maybe you need 20.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 is an easy number if you think about how many people are out there that can use some help. Um, so it's about just trying to keep that in perspective, that it's, to get to where you want to be, you don't need hundreds and thousands of customers. You
Right.
can actually do it on a smaller number if you just kind of focus and figure out, like you're working on now, what are the avenues that I'm offering?
Mm-hmm.
And then based on that, how many customers do I think I need to fit that?
Right. Well, it was so nice to have you on the show
Yeah, absolutely.
today.
This is cool. I'm glad we got a chance to connect.
Yes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the slide with your social handles so you can tell people how to get in contact with you if they want to render
Cool.
any of your services.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. I mean, obviously, on the slide itself, you'll see Instagram. I post three or four times a week. And then if anybody's interested, if you go to my website, Crafted 1K, every Saturday, I have a Saturday morning cartoon newsletter. So if you're not wanting to do social all week long, it's an email Saturday mornings with all the cartoons I created, and as well as some extra insights and tips that I provide. But it's a fun way to start your week and grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and look at some cartoons.
Well, I'm definitely gonna check it out now because I am a huge cartoon fan.
Cool.
Um, huge heart cartoon fan. But all right, you guys, here is my contact information. If you would like to get up with me or get in contact with me, you can do so by calling me 910-317-0396. You can email me at contact@mjfinancial.biz, or you can schedule an appointment on my website at www.mjfinancial.biz. And you can also re-listen to this episode on Anchor. So if you're on the go and you're not able, you can't watch videos and drive, but you always go back and listen to this episode on Anchor. So thank you again, Mr. Dave, for coming and sharing this insightful information with you. And I look forward to having you on the show again.
Absolutely. It was fun. See ya.
All right.